This is the Mets Postcast, your instant game reaction for the New York Mets. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
For the second time in the 4 meetings so far this season between the Mets and the Dodgers, this one goes to extra innings. But unlike the first meeting, the Mets find a way to win in the 10th, 4-3, defeating the Dodgers, extending their winning streak to 4 games, making it 3 in a row against this Dodgers team. And boy, was that one worth staying up for. Welcome in to the Mets Postcast here, the Locked On Mets YouTube channel, the Locked On Mets podcast feed. I'm your Postcast host, Chris Schubert, here with you after each and every Mets game throughout the course of the season, and even especially so on a night like tonight. We're past midnight on the East Coast. It's already into June 3rd, and we celebrate the Mets picking up a win on the road. Breathe, everybody, breathe. The Mets found a way to squeak this one out. It was a nail-biter throughout. It was a nail-biter in the 9th inning. It was a nail-biter in the 10th inning. But the Mets got the dub, and let's try to just reset here. Let's try to get the emotions in check. Let's try to get the adrenaline down, because I'm sure you all watching this game tonight were feeling it. You wanted this one. I certainly wanted this one. Watching this game, there are those heartbeats throughout the course of the season, those mile markers where even though it's just 1 of 162, it does feel like it's a little bit more. The games earlier in the season against the Yankees certainly felt that way. The first series against the Dodgers last week, the first meeting of these two teams since the NLCS, and especially this one now traveling back to LA for 4 games on the road, riding the momentum of a 3-game winning streak. You wanted this one tonight, and the Mets got it done. So let's reset and let's focus on what you'll be talking about, because it was the 9th into the 10th inning. That is the big takeaway from this one.
This is what you'll be talking about.
We'll get the bad out of the way. Edwin Diaz blows his first save of the season. There was 13 for 13, a perfect 13 for 13 going into tonight. Blew the first save of the season, allowed the Dodgers to tie this one up at 2 and send it into extras. I don't want to say that I'm concerned about Edwin Diaz. This is a really good Dodgers team. And you knew, doing the math, looking the way the lineup was setting up for the 9th inning, there was going to be an at-bat where it was Diaz against Ohtani. It was best on best. And you got Ohtani out, right? He hits a sacrifice fly, so he doesn't beat you with a home run. So I'm not going to be overly concerned about Edwin Diaz blowing his first save of the season. Would you have rather us started this postcast maybe 20 minutes earlier, and it would have been a nice, easy 2-1 win for the New York Mets? Absolutely. But the New York Mets couldn't let us have that one. And then you go into extras and you do exactly what you are supposed to do. As the road team in extra innings, you have to score 2 runs. 1 run is not enough. You are not going to win when in the bottom half, the home team automatically has the tying run in scoring position if you only get the 1 run. So you have to play for 2, and it is the Franciscos who team up. It's Francisco Alvarez with his first RBI since May 4th, nearly a month since the last time that he produced an RBI. He comes through with the double, trades places with Acuna, and then sets up the Mets with a golden opportunity with Lindor up there to cash in on that second run. Lindor absolutely does that, and the Mets have that comfortable 2-run lead. And now you're trying to figure out how they're going to get the final 3 outs. And Jose Castillo, about 4 different times, was going to come into this game. Every time they cut to the bullpen, it was Jose Castillo getting ready. It was never anybody else, yet other relievers came into the game. And Jose Castillo drew the bottom of the 10th, made it interesting for sure. Jose Butto came in. The issue with Jose this season has been those inherited runners working himself in and out of jams. He did that, got that last out for the Mets, and got some help. Dave Roberts made a bit of a blunder. Castillo needed to face that third batter. He left the lefty Muncy in to face him instead of going with Will Smith in that spot, and then waited till Conforto came up. He made the change on his end, albeit weirdly when Conforto was already in the box. He made the change, and Carlos Mendoza says, okay, if you're going to make a change, I'm now allowed to make a change. I'll make a change. And he goes to Jose Butto. So bit of a blunder there from Dave Roberts that played into the Mets' hands and allowed them to get Butto in an advantageous spot, and allowed Castillo to face Muncy in that spot. James says short in the bullpen tomorrow. Certainly something to keep an eye on, that you used a lot of arms today to get through, or tonight, I should say, to get through this game and get the win. But you worry about tomorrow. You focus on today, and the Mets needed to focus on picking up a victory, and that's exactly what the Mets did. So, James, fair point. It is going to be an interesting situation to monitor with Tylor Megill on the mound, and we know that length isn't necessarily what we've come to expect with Megill, but that's a future us problem. That can be tomorrow's postcast problem. Today's postcast is about the New York Mets picking up a victory, and Butto picks up his first save of the season for Jose. Let me just check the stats here. I'm pretty sure for his first save of the season. We've had a couple of different Mets get in there and pick up saves, but I believe it is the first one for Butto. Yes, it is his first save, and the Mets tag Tanner Scott once again. They got him for the 3 runs in the Friday night game that went to extras when these two teams met up in Citi Field. And they get him again here in the 10th inning. So just a credit to the Mets. They don't score a ton throughout the course of the game, only get the 2 runs. But when it mattered most, those bats that have been quiet in extra innings against the Dodgers, have been quiet with runners in scoring position, all of that, they came through tonight. And so it was really, really nice to see them find this victory. Let's take a timeout. When we come back, let's talk about Paul Blackburn. Do not want to let his start get lost in the shuffle of all of the craziness, the 9th and 10th inning. Got to talk about Francisco Lindor leading off the game with another home run, and the stat that continues to grow. And let's also hear from you. Your thoughts, always welcome here on the Mets Postcast. I want to hear from you about this Mets victory. It feels like one of the statement victories for this team so far this season. And they moved to 38-22 now with the victory, but feels like one of those statement victories that they have now on their resume. If this was college football or college basketball and your resume mattered, this is one that you would put on there, and a nice one to put into your back pocket. So your thoughts, we'll talk about Paul Blackburn and leadoff Lindor striking again here on the other side. Listen, it's late. You're staying up to watch these games. You may need that late night snack. Well, if you're looking for a snack that's delicious and nutritious while you're watching the Mets in action during these late night broadcasts, crack into a good source of protein with wonderful pistachios. It's one of the highest protein nuts. Each 1 ounce serving has 6 grams of protein, giving you over 10% of your daily value. Plus, they're packed with fiber and better for you unsaturated fats to help keep you feeling fuller and longer. You got to love the no shells variety, the perfect grab and go snack for busy days. Whether you're snacking at your desk, you're on a road trip, or you just need that quick protein boost, perhaps when there's an extra inning baseball game going on, they should be your go-to. And if you love cracking open every shell for that satisfying crunch, the in-shell options are a classic favorite. Whether you're running between meetings or dropping off the kids, wonderful pistachios are the snack that works as hard as you do. Get snackin' and get crackin' with the snack that packs a protein punch. Visit wonderfulpistachios.com to learn more. Back here on the Mets Postcast, Locked On Mets YouTube channel, the Locked On Mets podcast feed. And just real quick, shout out to all of you, because this is Mets After Dark. This is late night Mets. This is the wee hours of the morning for those of you who are joining us live. And so shout out to you. You, the real MVPs. You are the player of the game for this one, for joining us here after the Mets pick up a victory. Paul Blackburn, man, what a start this was. Last time we saw him was in August, that game against the Padres where he takes the ball off the hand, has to get the surgery for the spinal tap fluid in his back, in his spine, that didn't know if he was going to be able to pitch again. And he goes out there tonight, and I know you're all worried about it. I was worried about it. Okay, this is where we're going to get Paul Blackburn back into this rotation against the Dodgers. I know no Mookie Betts tonight, but they still have Ohtani. They still have Freddie Freeman. This is still a deep offense, one of the best offenses statistically in the game, defending World Series champions. This is really the spot that we're going to circle. And boy, did Paul Blackburn deliver. We'll give you the stats here on this one. 5 innings, 3 hits, the no earned runs, 1 walk, and 3 strikeouts. And I mean this with the utmost respect for Paul Blackburn. The dude just has the kitchen sink working for him. He'll throw everything. And what was really interesting tonight is after throwing his fastball 20% of the time last year, he basically avoided it tonight. It was at one point during the game where it was 0. I'd have to go back and look to see if there was a different cast classification for any of his pitches that maybe bumped them into the fastball category, but basically veered away from it. Used that curveball, used that slider, and man, it was just better than I think any of us could have anticipated. And on a night where you had an umpire behind the plate that, let's face it, that was a tight strike zone. That was a batter-friendly strike zone tonight where he was not giving you those edges. He was not giving you those borderline pitches. You had to go out there and earn it. And I thought Paul Blackburn did an excellent job tonight, just mixing the off speed with his fast offerings, the curveball, the changeup. He had the slider working. It was just clinical in a big way. Got Ohtani multiple times in the game, struck him out. Just had a great plan of attack against Ohtani. Before the home run, Ohtani was 2 for 16 to start the year in his 16 at-bats against the Mets. They just kind of had his number early on in this game. And Blackburn was awesome. Max says, I was unfamiliar with Blackburn's game. That break on the slider is so outrageously sharp. Yeah, I mean, and Steve Gelb said it during the broadcast tonight that he had worked on changing all of the grips of his pitches. So still was utilizing the same repertoire, but was just adding more to his grips, kind of throwing more of a splinker, changing up his grips with some of his pitches. And just when he has all that time, and he was down in the minor leagues in his last rehab start, they mentioned this on a broadcast, he didn't throw a single fastball. So that was definitely by design, and just the tip of the cap. And you definitely don't want that to get lost. Again, the craziness of the ninth inning, the craziness of extra innings, the Mets picking up the win. I don't want that to get lost in the shuffle. I will say I was somewhat surprised that Mendy didn't give him a chance to go out there in the sixth inning. I wouldn't call this a mistake. I wouldn't call this a blunder. I wouldn't get on Mendy for it, but we try to be transparent here. I share with you my opinions, my thoughts as the game progresses. And I thought with the way that he pitched through the first 5 innings that he at least deserved the chance to go out there for the sixth. Pitch count wasn't super high. They weren't monitoring his pitch count. He was throwing, full starts down in the minor league, so he wasn't totally capped out. Thought there was a chance there to put him out there in the sixth inning and say, listen, first time you get into trouble, first time somebody gets on base, we're yanking you, but you deserve the chance to try to get some outs there in the sixth inning. Was kind of surprised by that, but when you have the bullpen that the Mets do, I can understand wanting to lean on that in a one-run game. And Huascar Brazoban tried to do his best Edwin Diaz impersonation, working in and out of some trouble, some walks, some base traffic. He worked out of it, ended up throwing up the all-important 0 when the game was 2-0 at that point. But the Mets bullpen, they used a lot of guys tonight. Brazoban, Kranick, Stanek, Diaz, Castillo, Butto, all go in this one, but they combined to do enough to get enough outs for the Mets to keep the Dodgers off the board, and the Mets win 4-3. Lindor strikes again, his 6th leadoff home run of the season, and it's just a skill set, man. It is just a skill set that Francisco Lindor has. 2 pitches into this game, the composure to be able to just sit back and wait for his pitch. He didn't even wait that long tonight. Second pitch attacked. That was a no-doubter. The 6th time he's done that this season, and it is now the 27th straight game for the New York Mets that they have won when Francisco Lindor hits a home run. You want one stat to encapsulate how important Francisco Lindor is to this team, that encapsulates why he is the MVP, why he was the MVP of the team last year, why he's been the MVP of the team to start this season. It is that stat in particular. He just continues to find new and different ways to come through for this team. Did it again tonight. I believe that now has him up to 8 leadoff home runs. That is tied for 4th in Mets history. He's got 26 career leadoff home runs. That is 8th among active players. He is one short of, this is from Anthony DeComo, one shy of Curtis Granderson's franchise record. And I believe Grandy did it in back-to-back years in 15 and in 16, those leadoff home runs. And it's just special. It is just a huge way to start the game. And it's weird, but I actually kind of like it more when the team's on the road, because it is that immediate run support for your pitcher, especially in this case for Paul Blackburn, who was going to have the adrenaline pumping, was going to be amped up, got handed a lead early. I love it even more on the road. It just sets the tone in a big way. It gets the dugout fired up, and it's just awesome. Now at home, it gets the crowd into it, but on the road, you can kind of silence the crowd early. You can get them all out of sorts. You can get the pitcher rattled, and you can get your dugout and your team amped up and ready to go from the get-go. Ray says Tyrone Taylor catch pivotal. Let's give some flowers, Ray. I'll use your word. Let's give some flowers, because I want to make a comparison. And longtime Mets fans, if you've been a longtime Mets fans, you may scoff at this comparison. But watching Tyrone Taylor patrol center field gives me prime Juan Lagares vibes. Like, this is watching Juan Lagares. You just assume that when a ball is hit and it's in that vicinity, that Tyrone Taylor is going to track it down, that he's going to find a way to make a play. There was a ball tonight that got hit. I forget who hit it. It was a little bit of just a bleeder that just died in the air. He almost got to the ball on just an excellent effort to charge the ball and even be close to being able to make the play. I mean, he is just, it's so effortless. It's so smooth. He always seems under control. He always seems confident. He never seems flustered. I mean, I know we're focusing on the Dodger game, but in the Rockies series, he almost took away a home run over the wall that he almost got to. I mean, he is just special, special, special. And I know Jose Siri is working his way back, but boy, the defense that this team is getting on a regular basis from Tyrone Taylor, I don't know how you sit him down. I know the bat is spotty, it's hit or miss, but the defense it's Gold Glove caliber. It is just absolutely incredible. Some Alvarez talk in the chat. I mean, 2 hits today. The go-ahead RBI in the top of the 10th, his first RBI since May 4th. Hopefully that gives him some confidence. I forget who said it, but somebody asked me in a previous postcast if I thought it was time to send Alvarez down, and I kind of pushed against it. Broadcast did mention it tonight, so at least it is a thought that other people are having, but perhaps having the RBI, first time in 56 at-bats, he's driven in a run, maybe that gets his confidence going. And then Thomas says, okay, I have to say that Jeremy Hefner needs to be given Coach of the Year honors, like he has done an amazing job with our pitching staff. Jeremy Hefner deserves all the credit in the world, and I love to heap the praise on him because it's fantastic. He clearly has a great rapport with the entire pitching staff. He is excellent at delivering the information. I mean, that's what it tells me, that he is taking all of the data, all of the analytics, all of the information that is handed down to the front office, and he is making it digestible and understandable for all of these pitchers, and he is coming up with a unique plan, and he deserves all the credit in the world. But the one thing I want to caution against is we heap a lot of praise on Jeremy Hefner, and rightfully so. Let's not forget to heap the praise on these individual pitchers for putting in the work and being willing to take the feedback from Hefner, to make the adjustments. I mean, they took Griffin Canning from a different organization. They said, hey, dude, don't throw your fastball anymore. It takes somebody who's extremely comfortable of who they are as a big leaguer to say, okay, you don't want me to throw my fastball? I won't throw my fastball as much anymore. So, yes, Hefner's doing a great job, and he deserves the credit, but let's also give credit to all of these individual pitchers for the work that they have put in. And the pitching was spot on tonight. I know the final score is 4-3, and Edwin Diaz blows his first save of the season, but this is a 2-1 game for a majority of it because Paul Blackburn was great, and the bullpen just gets outs. And so was just absolutely fantastic to see the job that they did tonight. Get some rest. We'll do it again tomorrow. The Mets are back in action tomorrow night. Some more Mets After Dark, some more late night Mets baseball. It is Tylor Megill on the mound as the Mets will try to at least secure a series split here. They will go for their 5th win in a row. They will go for their 4th straight win over this Dodgers team. And you just love to have a game like that go your way, because when it gets into extras, with the way that it went down last Friday, you're nervous again about letting a game slip out of your hands, having extra innings doom you once again. Just the maturity of this team, the ability to just block out all the noise, to forget about what happened. They're just a great bounce back team. They have resiliency that we saw in the second half from them last year, and it is definitely a calling card for them this season. The Mets pick up a victory over the Los Angeles Dodgers 4-3, kick off their series in LA, kick off this little road swing on a good note. They will try to keep the good times rolling tomorrow. We'll be right back here, the Locked On Mets YouTube channel, inside the Locked On Mets podcast feed for the Mets postcast, breaking down everything that happens for the New York Mets. Again, shout out to all of you for being here. It's definitely exciting times when the Mets pick up a victory, but I can see what time it is. I can see what time it is on the clock. So appreciate all of you being here and joining me for the Mets postcast. But that is going to do it. If you're new here, subscribe, turn on that notification bell so that you are notified when we go live, and you can join us again, hopefully, for a victory edition of this show tomorrow. Get some rest, drink some fluids, get ready for some more Mets After Dark tomorrow night. See you, everybody.